You know, we always talk about colonial history, but nobody talks about the Black Cherokee and why the US government feared them more than any other group on this continent. Before the Trail of Tears and before reservations, before America rewrote every tribal census, there were an entire Cherokee and Seminole nations made up of dark-skinned, wool-haired people who didn't fit the neat racial boxes the system created. They weren't mixed, they weren't runaway slaves, they were sovereign nations documented in early military records, and the US government treated them as a threat, not because of their skin color, but because of what they knew. The Black Cherokee and the Black Seminoles held knowledge passed down from older civilizations, Yamisi, Wichita, Tuscarora, and even the earlier Caribbean and Olmec migrations. They carried ceremonies and star knowledge, songs and grid-keeping traditions that went back thousands of years. Some of them came from the same lineages that built mounds aligned to star systems. Some descended from priesthoods that understood land as a living, breathing network of energy lines. And this is where the history and CDT plate cosmology meet. These tribes weren't just warriors, they were frequency holders. Their territory sat on major Earth grid points. Their rituals weren't just spiritual, they balanced the planet. When colonizers arrived, they didn't just see Indians, they saw people who refused to be controlled. People who could unify Africans and natives into one nation. People who understood the land in ways Europeans couldn't decode. People who knew they were the original grid keepers on the soil. So what happened? The United States didn't just fight them, they launched campaigns to erase them. Renaming tribes, reclassified bloodlines, split families into Black and Indian categories so they could never claim the same land again. And in the history books, the Black Cherokee were rewritten as outsiders, even though many of them had treaties, tribal roles, and long-standing leadership positions. But here's the part you can feel in your bones. These people weren't erased, they were hidden. Their descendants are still here, feeling the pull, the intuition, the dreams, the sense they've lived this experience before. Because blood remembers, land remembers, and the grid lines those ancestors protected are waking up again. If you've always felt connected to native culture without understanding why, if you've sensed the land speaking to you, if you carry dreams, visions, or spiritual sensitivity no one around you can explain, you might not just be African American, you may be the descendant of the most feared, most powerful, and most erased tribal nations on this land. If you feel this in your spirit, comment activate if you're on Instagram and I'll send you a DM. If you're on TikTok, the link is in my bio. Taisha and Tadoe. One love.